Evening, everybody. Welcome to our Monday night presentation, and thank you for all being here with us this evening. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Merle Westcott. I'm a Senior Presidential Director in LifeWave, and I live in Durban, South Africa. I joined LifeWave in December 2022 because Candace, you can see Candace, who's got really bad connection tonight, so she won't be talking, introduced me to David Schmidt with a YouTube video talking to healthcare professionals. And because I've been in complementary therapy for 30 years this year, everything that David said made perfect sense to me. And I decided I was going to patch. But I said to Candace, never telling another person about these patches because I don't do network marketing anymore. Done it before, and this is not for me. Well, you all wouldn't be on the call this evening if I didn't start telling people about them. And I had to, because once you know the power of this incredible patch, you can't keep it to yourself because you would be doing your friends and family and everybody else around you a disservice. So I'm going to introduce you to Alex, who's going to do the product part of the presentation, and then we'll jump into the presentation and I will talk about the business just now. So over to you, Alex.
Okay, thanks everybody. Many of you know who I am, and for those of you who don't, I joined in June 2022. After much
2023.
nagging from Merle, 23.
I'm 23. Yeah,
23. Okay.
23.
I was after much nagging from Merle and with a huge load of skepticism from myself. I'm a nurse, and this all sounded unreal to me, and very definitely not um something that could fix everything doesn't ever sound real to anybody. So I was then approached by somebody whose brother had dementia. And I said I would look at this simply because the other side of medicine has nothing to offer people with dementia. So nobody had anything to lose. So I spent 2 or 3 months looking at a whole bunch of stuff, and it sent me down a whole rabbit hole. I watched many videos. I read many clinical papers. I was on PubMed and academia. I listened to everything, read everything, and then had to concede that the patches do what they say they will do, which is stimulate a copper peptide, which stimulates the production of your stem cells, and that the company is ethical, honorable, honest, well established, financially sound, with an ethic and an attitude to people and living and health and wellness that is quite exemplary. And so I don't do multi-level marketing either. But I either had to choose to not use the technology because I had a principle about multi-level marketing, or to use the technology. So that's got me to be here. So now we can talk about the product.
And you're going to tell your story later.
Yeah, sure, if they want to hear it.
I'm sure
Yeah.
they want to hear it because why did you start patching? But you can tell them later. Let's get into the
Yeah.
presentation and then we can get to your story.
Okay.
Right, there we go.
So we always ask at this point if have you been patched yet? And a whole lot of us on this call have. Some haven't. And for those, this is really fascinating and really interesting. So pay attention because it really is a bit like the script for a Star Wars movie. It's fabulously exciting. So David Schmidt is our CEO and inventor of X39. He has over 180 patents now. And he's a scientist and inventor, not a medical doctor. He's specializing in age reversal. And in 2008, David focused his attention on stem cell research. Stem cell research is currently the huge big buzzword everywhere. The research money being spent on stem cell research is about 2.6 billion. Because if the pharmaceutical industry can find some way to give you stem cells that is non-invasive and charge you a fortune, that'll be the next statin. Anyway, the recent patent, which is X39, took 10 years and 4.5 million to bring to market. What do we have in X39? We have patented technology. So everybody knows what a patent is. You have to produce unique scientific information in order to get the patent. So it's no information that anybody's ever had before. You have to prove that them giving you a patent is justifiable. The other wonderful thing about a patent is that it's issued for 20 years. And in the case of X39, we've only used 5. So for those of you who are on this call and think that there is potentially a business opportunity here, there very definitely is one with a completely unique product that nobody else has for the next 15 years. So what does the patent say? As a result of elevating copper peptide, including activation of stem cells, improvement in energy, elevation of antioxidants, reduction in inflammation, management of pain, improvement in stamina, elevation of collagen production, and improved wound healing. This little patch does a lot of things by stimulating that peptide. Why X39 stem cell activation patch? So the fewer stem cells you have, the faster you age and the slower you heal. When you're born, when you're a very tiny, brand new person, you literally have trillions. There are lots of them. And that's why you heal so quickly, because you are still growing and building and changing. The fewer stem cells you have, the faster you age and the slower you heal. We all know that, either through our own lives or through the people that we love and care about and watch around us. Hundreds of millions of people are experiencing symptoms of aging worldwide. At age 30, only half your stem cells are active. So in effect, at 30 years old, you're middle-aged. Isn't it just as well we never knew that? At age 60, you've lost almost all your stem cell activity. So how does X39 work? X39 is a proprietary form of phototherapy. So phototherapy is light therapy. You would have used infrared lamps in hospital to heal. Some of you would have put your babies under lights when their immature livers made them stay yellow after they were born. That's all phototherapy. Lasers are concentrated light. So phototherapy has been around in medicine or in healing for 3,500 years. Inside the patch is patented nanocrystal technology. So nano means tiny, as in atomic size crystals, and it's technology, not medicine. So patented nanocrystal technology is what that little white patch is in the middle of the patch that looks like a band-aid. Is a tiny, tiny lattice work of fibers that are sugar, salt, water, oxygen, and proprietary amino acids, meaning specific amino acids. And those are lysine, histidine, and cysteine. So as a combination, they wait in that patch in the middle. And your body light, your body heat reflects like it does from every living thing, every living animal, every living plant reflects light. And that reflected light that's coming out of your body activates the patch. So that's like walking around with an infrared healing lamp, I don't know, in a backpack on your back. Because it works for the time that it is on your body. So it's not periods of treatment, it's the entire time it's connected to you, it's active. And that activity is, that patch contains a message. No drugs, no chemicals, no stimulants. It's non-invasive and nothing crosses the dermis of your skin. So how it works is that we as human beings manufacture vitamin D when we stand in the sun. The sun does not give us vitamin D. It stimulates the skin of our bodies, and that sends a biochemical message into your system, and your body manufactures vitamin D. That's how vitamin D manufacturing works. This patch works on the same principle. The patch sends a message into your body, and that biochemical message stimulates the mitochondria in your cell, which is like the engine of your cell, to produce a peptide, which is a copper peptide called GHKCU. You don't have to remember that. That's just what the chemical process is. That is also a peptide that we have lots of when we are young. And our body's production of GHKCU decreases as we age, which is part of the reason why we age. So the benefits of X39: increased strength, reduced inflammation, increased stamina, energy and vitality, mental clarity. A lot of people comment that this happens very, very quickly. Restored muscles or skeletal conditions, improvement of sleep, improvement of skin appearance. All of those things are the things that you would experience as you age. And by the way, that's quite a short list. That copper peptide, GHKCU, does a lot of things. Those just happen to be some of the most significant and some of those that we will notice when we start to have an increased level of that peptide. So it's really important at this point to say that LifeWave products don't diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or medical condition. This is not medicine. This is technology. Medicine manages disease and treats symptoms. This is technology, which is encouraging your body to heal itself. So it's giving it the message, and it's giving it the instruction, and it's giving it the potential to balance and heal itself. Two very, very different ways of approaching wellness. So these are the results of a topographical map. This is the picture of somebody's brain, which without technology, a couple of years ago, we wouldn't have been able to see. So on the first session, she is a 77-year-old female. She has an inflamed brain with lack of brain coherence. After 3 weeks on X39, you can see all the orange and yellow bits. Orange and red bits, I mean. Session 2, 3 weeks on X39, no more inflammation, improved brain coherence. So the red and orange is gone after 3 weeks. Session 3, after 6 weeks on X39, she's had a complete turnaround in her brain with better coherence. So the other important thing about this picture is that it shows the cumulative effects. The longer you wear it, the more effect or impact you will notice on various organs. So X39 long-term results per case studies. On this is at info.com. The per case studies is an important part of the sentence because the claims that are made here have been proven by clinical studies, not just something that's been hung together like a good idea. So 4,000 genes begin to reset in the first few days. That's huge. That's absolutely enormous. The closest thing that conventional medicine has to that is a product called resveratrol, which resets 2 genes. So this is a completely different league. Within 6 weeks, your brain becomes balanced. We've just seen pictures of that. So that is important to people with things like anxiety, depression, ADHD, autism, all sorts of things in which there is inflammation of the brain and the brain is not functioning optimally. Within 3 months, your collagen is increased. And collagen is not just about skin and nails and hair. Collagen is part of absolutely everything. It's in our blood vessels, in our hearts, in our lungs, and it's absolutely everywhere, in your gut, in every joint. Part of the reason that we start to age is because those bits of us become old and tired and friable. So we start to get sore knees and sore shoulders and sore backs because the collagen that was holding all these bits and pieces in the right place is A, not so sound, and B, not being replaced if it's damaged. And within 6 months, your heart reverses in age. So David Schmidt says this is not anti-aging, it is age reversing. So how to wear X39? You wear your patch for 12 hours on and 12 hours off to repair and rejuvenate. Then you throw the patch away or put it on your partner or your cat or your dog, because there's definitely some level of activity left there, but not sufficient for you to wear it to have a full therapeutic value the following day. Then you put a new patch on and repeat. So it's 12 hours on, 12 hours off. On for the stimulus and off to repair and rejuvenate, so that you don't overstimulate a system. Any system that is overexposed to a stimulus will eventually stop to respond. You can wear one more patch at more than one patch at a time. We have 10 patches. So many of us wear many of the other patches as well, but this presentation is only concerned about X39. And whoever introduced you to this will help you understand where the others fit in. The other most important thing is drink plenty of water, and I mean plenty of water. This is essentially electricity. You need the conductivity to move the message around your body. And the single biggest reason for patches being deemed to be not effective is that people aren't drinking enough water. And it's really easy to calculate. Just go on to ChatGPT, AI. But it's about 30 mils per kilo per day is what the dietitians would tell you. And then to take electrolytes, because of the same reason. This is electricity. So we are, most of us, electrolyte deficient. And in order to conduct the message as best we can, we need the electrolytes. Sugar-free ones, by the way, not rehydrate. So X39, so sophisticated, yet so simple to explain. And the testimonies are life-changing and emotional, and that is a true story. For those of us that have been around for a while, it's quite extraordinary to hear things that happen, lives that change. It really is absolutely amazing. And there is nothing in conventional medicine that can compare to this. Nothing. So there is no competition. Okay, we're done.
Thanks, Alex. But perhaps you can share your story because you have an incredible testimony.
Okay, so I started taking X39 because I understood what stem cells did. So my head was already in the place that said, it's going to take as long as it takes. I'd had an inflammatory disease. It's an autoimmune disease called polymyalgia for 20 years. So in those 20 years, that level of inflammation throughout my whole system had clearly damaged things. My gut, my joints, my discs, my wherever. Inflammation, it's like boiling yourself. So I was prepared to take it, understanding that some repair was going on, whether I could see or feel it or not. And I did see and feel it. I got energy. I had some days that were fantastic. I had other days I was really sore. I had other days that I was really tired. Healing uses energy. Healing is not always comfortable. And anybody who's had any level of surgery will know and remember that. So I just kept going. My worst days, if I reflect on it, were when I hadn't had enough water to drink. or I'd eaten really badly, like lots of sugar or lots of carb or lots of whatever, which feeds inflammation. But I took 10 months and then woke up one morning pain free. And if I'd stopped, I wouldn't be here telling you the story. I used to buy cortisone tablets in 1,000 tablet bottles so that I could keep riding my bike, running a home with 3 children, running 2 businesses and a husband, and just living a normal life with a lot to do. So I managed my pain with anti-inflammatories and cortisone when it got really bad, and Lyrica and duloxetine and anti-inflammatories, and um, I have no more polymyalgia pain, none, and it has absolutely changed my life. Along the way, I got a whole lot of other little benefits. A whole lot of my hair had fallen out. I looked like a 100-year-old person because I'd lost 20 kilos and I was so completely stressed. And I've lost all the fine lines on my face. My hair has all come back. My eyelids have even lifted. Um, it's just a progressive thing, and that wasn't what I signed up for. Really, it wasn't, but it's a fabulous side effect. So, my gut is repaired. I'm sleeping better. I can go on and on and on and on. So all I'm trying to say is that really it is about healing and repair, and that represents or manifests differently in every single person because every single one of us is different inside and out from a health point of view. That's it, I think.
Thanks, Alex. Jonathan, there we go. Won't you share your story, please? Very different to
Yeah,
Alex's. And
no problem. I thought you might call me. Um, yeah, I'm Jonathan, guys. I first discovered the patch because I wanted it for my dad. My dad has been unwell for years upon years, and so when I first saw it, I was like, "Wow, maybe this thing can help my dad." And I myself had a back injury at the time. I had a wrestle in a calf throughout my lower back. The muscles around my sciatic nerve became inflamed, put pressure on the nerve, and so I had pain running from my lower back down the back of my leg. And it got progressively worse and worse as I, lived my daily life. And about a year and 2 months later, I was still in a lot of pain. And I sort of like learned to just deal with it. But at that point, it was getting much worse. The pain was constant every day down the back of my leg, and my toes were numb sometimes on the left-hand side. And that was freaking me out. So obviously went back to the doctor, referred to the chiropractor, and through that time, I learned about the X39 and I was like, whoa, that sounds cool. Too intrigued, did all the research and had to try it to know. Put it on myself, and 2 months later, I woke up for the first time in over 1 year and about 2 months with no pain. It was completely gone. And the moment that happened to me, I was like, oh my word, I have to tell my dad. Phoned my dad immediately. I was like, Dad, you've got to get some of these patches. He got some, started patching straight away. And about 2.5 months later, something amazing happened because my dad, he's got cardiac failure. He's had a pacemaker put in. He's 70 years old and he's got like licorice, all sorts, guys. Hypertension, diabetes, gout, arthritis. He's got it all, right? He's obviously on a lot of medication for all of this. And it got into a point where he was battling to walk from the house to the car and he was using a walker. Okay, and that had become a long trip for him. And obviously, we're very worried about him. Got him on the patches. 2.5 months later, my mom phoned me more or less in tears. And she said, you won't believe it, my boy. I went to town today with your dad and he went on a 45-minute walk. And I told her, like, Mom, you're lying. I know my dad. He hasn't done that in like 10 years. And so I was like, no, my boy, come see your dad. And I did. He is upbeat. He's no longer using that walker anymore. He's now got a walking stick, which he uses for balance. And now some months later, he's just come off half of his pain medication. And I'm hoping that as he continues to patch, he'll come off all of it. So I'm just feeling super blessed. Like my back is sorted, all good. And my dad, like that's the main thing, man. It's given him his quality of life back. Like he's going out by himself. He's even joined the exercise class. And like that for my dad is like out of this world. Yeah, that's my story.
Thanks, Jonathan. It's so exciting to hear about your dad. And the exercise class is amazing.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Avril, you have a lung story. Maybe you've got something else to tell us, but Avril's got a great story too. We need to unmute, Avril. That's much
Sorry, I
better.
didn't want to mute. Okay. My story started, it was a month before I started with X39, and I was diagnosed with pneumonia. And I had to visit the doctor, and he had to give me medication and injections and chest steam treatments. And then I was also afraid of landing in the hospital because 25 years before that, I'd had an op and my lungs had collapsed. So since that time, whenever I had a cold or flu, it would go straight into my chest. And then I would get asthmatic bronchitis. And then it always took me ages to recover from this process. It would be months before I could feel that I could breathe properly or even just walk properly because I couldn't breathe properly. And after using the X39 for 2 weeks, I noticed a change in my chest. And I had no wheezing. I always had wheezing. I would sit watching TV next to my husband, and he would say, "What is that noise?" And it was just my chest that was whistling. So it was actually so embarrassing. Sometimes you were sitting in company and your chest would start whistling, and you couldn't do anything about this. Anyway, so yes, and it would just be awful sitting there listening to your own chest. And then, yeah, it was just, it changed my life once my breathing became better because I had sciatica and I had that pain down my leg, in my lower back and down my leg. And that also just, one day it wasn't there anymore. And now, because of the lungs that were not working properly and I couldn't breathe properly, I could never walk. And now I'm actually doing 5-kilometer walks every Saturday. Yes, so that's my story and that's my new life.
Thanks, Avril. And it's such a change, isn't it? From not barely being able to walk to being able to do 5-kilometer walks. When you told us that you were doing that. Park
Yeah,
runs and yeah, amazing.
the whole quality of life has changed because there's so many things that we do now that I would never have done before. I just knew that I wouldn't stand if we went to a wedding or to a party or something, I would never be able to laugh from the guts like everybody else does. You know, you're having a big fat laugh and I can't. I had to, because I couldn't breathe properly, I would burst into a cough, a real bad cough. So I would make sure that I didn't laugh, just so that otherwise I get everybody's attention. And I think people thought, gee, but she must be a weird woman. She's got this, in Afrikaans, you call it norse, so they must have thought she was a terrible person. And it was just because I knew that I must not dare even try and laugh because I'm just going to cough and I'll have everybody's attention because of the cough.
So, I mean, it's life-changing in so many ways.
Yes.
The walking, the breathing, and you can actually be yourself.
Yes.
And enjoy life. Thanks so much, Avril. It's an amazing testimony. Okay, for something quite different, Nori's here tonight. What about your psoriasis? You see, I know everybody's conditions.
Thank you. Yes, well, I think I heard about the patches about 2 years ago from Merle, and then I did paralysis for 9 months, just thinking about it and looking at the research, and then I decided I'll only know if they work if I start wearing them. So that was May the 14th last year that I joined. And I remember on June the 1st, I actually put my patches on, but I was scared to put them on because I was frightened they weren't going to work. Because I was so enthused by all the research that I'd done, I thought, what if it doesn't work now? And for 4 years, I'd been suffering with weeping and blistering psoriasis on the back of my neck. And anything that I tried, I've got a background as a nutritionist, I've got my own health company. I just couldn't find the answers to this problem. And in 3 days, my psoriasis had dried up. And I was completely blown away. And I said to myself, oh my goodness, I have a business. And from that day onwards, I put my mind to it, and I ended up going to Dallas in October to the convention. I went to Morocco for the incentive trip in November, and I'm now getting ready to go to Croatia in May. So the patches change your life, but then you can change your life. So if you want to live your best life, then get patched and take this seriously. I am a business owner of a health company. I know that sometimes you've got to work 5 or 7 days a week, and you've got to see to things when they need seeing to, and you've got to drive it, and you've got to make it happen, and work with faith and trust and kindness and compassion. And it's that same energy that I put into LifeWave. And if we treat it like a business, it will become one. If we treat it like a hobby, it will stay like one. A hobby is a liability, but if we treat it like a business, it will become an asset. So you have the asset, just turn it into one.
Thanks, Nuri. Okay, so let's go back to the presentation. Right, Alex, do you want to do this one or me? You need to unmute.
Okay. This is an info. This is an info as a website, which you can go on to find out anything you choose to find out. There's lots on here. There are a lot of videos that are really worth watching. There's a video with what we would call a GP in South Africa that's really good. There are patents, there are trials, there are how we got here. There is a whole panel of doctors at the end commenting on a whole variety of things. There's a vascular surgeon, there's an anaesthetist, there's a chiropractor, there's a whole lot of people. It really is a website in which you can go down whatever route you choose to go in, whatever your interest is or wherever your concern may be, to check whether this is the real stuff. So it's a really, really good resource. So this is at info.com. Either write it down or take a photograph.
Thanks, Alex. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the business. I'm going to go over it really quickly. And if there are questions that you want more information on, I'm going to tell you exactly where to find it or go back to the person who invited you to the call. So as I said, when I joined in December 2022, it was all about the product. I'd said to Candace and George, who helped with signing me up, that I'm never going to tell anybody. So when I started seeing the results the following year, and I thought, well, I'm going to build a business, I thought best I have a look at how this business works, because I don't want to tell people that they should be joining if I don't trust the vehicle that LifeWave comes in. I know the patches work, but what about the company? And at that stage, we were a 19-year-old company. We're now a 20-year-old company. In fact, this year we turned 21. We open in over 75 countries, and we're not a Me Too product. As Alex said, we've got another 15 years left on the patent for X39, and that means that nobody can copy what we have. So if I was part of a company that did weight loss or skincare or supplements, and I came to you and said, well, I've got a weight loss product, you might say, well, I have one too. But nobody can come and say, well, I've got a product that activates copper peptides in the body or elevates copper peptides in the body. Now, another thing that shows how incredibly the company has grown is our turnover. So in 2021, the company did $20 million a year turnover. 2022, it was 320 million. 2023, 430 million. Last year, we did over 600 million, and we're on track to do over $1 billion this year. So that's quite some growth. Now, a company doesn't grow like that if they don't have a product that works. So LifeWave is also ranked as the #1 momentum company on businessforhome.org. Businessforhome.org is an American website, and it lists multi-level marketing companies, and there are over 100 companies listed. So to beat number one in momentum is quite something. Last year, we were awarded the 2024 Global Bravo Award as the number one growth company in network marketing. We have been nominated for the award again this year, and the awards are this month, and David Schmidt has been nominated for some awards too. So we're expecting to come home from the Bravo Awards this year with more awards than we got last year. At this point of the presentation, we always ask, what is the most important thing in your life? So whether you're part of LifeWave or you're a guest, especially for guests, but even if you're a part of the team, think about what it is that has you here on this presentation tonight. Is it your family? Do you want more time with them? Do you want the freedom? I know for many people who still have small children, or even teenagers, they want to be able to go to school events, they want to watch sport, they want to enjoy their children. Is it security that you want? Whether it be financial security or health security, because having good health does give you a certain level of security. Do you want to travel more? As Nuri said, there are lots of incredible incentives with LifeWave, and then things like conventions. I mean, there are all sorts of things that we can travel to with LifeWave. The company is amazing. Are you looking for better health? What about less debt? When I joined LifeWave, it was all about the health. That was all I was interested in. But actually, I could have done with every single one of those. But nobody showed me this because we were so new in South Africa when I joined. It wasn't a presentation. I didn't have a clue how the business worked. I just signed up. And then I realized that we actually work on a binary. And although I said I was over multi-level marketing, the company I had been in before and being quite successful, and it was a reason that I didn't want to do multi-level marketing anymore, also worked on a binary. And I knew how powerful a binary was. So that was quite exciting because I realized that in a binary, you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself, because we build as a team. So the leg that you are brought onto in LifeWave, so the person who enrolls you, is going to put you on a leg, and that leg, your upline and your downline are going to support you. And on the other leg, your downline are going to support the business. So to become a manager in LifeWave, you get enrolled. So you're on the call today and you go to the person who invited you and say, I want to become part of LifeWave. They are going to put you on your left leg or your right leg, because we only have two legs, which is two teams. And whichever leg you are put on, there are going to be people that are going to join your business that you don't even know who they are. You're going to just see these people slotting in underneath you. And ultimately, they are going to become part of your team and add to your income, but you don't even know them. And that is the magic of LifeWave. So that is one of the ways we get compensated. It's called binary commission, and binary commission works on volume. So that's everything that's brought, every customer that comes in, because people can come in as customers and they can get wholesale price. If you come in as a brand partner, the person who brings you in will get what's called a product introductory bonus. But the exciting thing is really our team commissions. And once you're binary qualified, so you have one person on each leg, you open up the ability to make team commissions. But once you have two on each leg, you can become a manager and you really can start to get commissions. And they are capped at $25,000 a week for senior presidential directors. Now, obviously, we can't guarantee what anybody's going to make because it's all about how much effort you put into building LifeWave. Now, we also have something called matching bonuses, and matching bonuses are unlimited. So if we look at matching bonuses, everybody that you enroll personally, every time they get a bonus, you get 25% of it, but not of their money. The company gives you money to say, well, Merle, you've done a really good job. You've helped Alex. Alex is in my first line, or Nuri's in my first line. You've helped them to achieve, and so we are rewarding you. So you're going to get 25%, but they still get their full bonus. Everyone on my second line, those are the people that my first line brought in, I get 20% on everything they do. And on my third line, I get 20%. So that goes 3 levels deep, but there is no limit. So if you've brought 100 people in and all 100 are making cycles, some might be getting 1 cycle a week, cycles $50. Some might be getting 10 cycles a week. Some might be getting 40 cycles a week. You're going to get 25% on every single one of those cycles. And then the people they brought in, which should be more, and then the third line. So that's what's called cycle match. So how do we come into LifeWave? I always say you come in where you fit in. So we've got 3 main packages that we focus on, the first one being core. So if you think, well, I'm just going to try this product, which was me, I thought, I'm not going to come in as a customer. It means I need a monthly recurring order. to get the wholesale price. I want wholesale price as and when I want to purchase. So I'm going to come in on the binary. I'm not going to build a business. I'm not really going to care if I stay active or not, because I just want product. But Core is going to give me 3 sleeves of X39 for $295. And then we add VAT and delivery to that. So depending on the country, the delivery and VAT is added on. So it's different in every single country. And it would give me 3 months worth of patches. What I didn't know then is the power of the patch. I've never gone inactive. I've always kept being active because it meant that I got volume, but only because my husband and I each used a sleeve of patches. Then a friend wanted a sleeve, so I sold her a sleeve, and then I needed more. So I upgraded to advanced. Now that's the nice thing about LifeWave. It allows you to upgrade. When you upgrade, you just pay the difference and you get the difference in product. So you don't have to start all over again if you think, well, I want to be on a bigger package. So on advanced, you get 6 sleeves of X39 for $535. So already you're getting a nice discount. You can replace any 1 sleeve of X39 with 2 sleeves of our supplementary patches, which Alex spoke about briefly, but she didn't tell you much about them. We're not going to go into that, but you can do that. If you want to go a manager and you're coming in because of the business, you are going to start on advanced. I'm going to recommend that's where you start, because on advanced, you can go manager straight away. On Core, you can't. So if you know that you're going to bring in your 4 friends the first week that you're in the business, and many people do that, some people do it in the first day, then you want to be on advanced. And then, of course, there's premium. Premium is for your pharmacies. My local pharmacy are a brand partner, doctors, therapists, massage therapists, anybody like that, or anybody who has a huge family or wants to have more product to give to their friends as they sign up and then they get the product back, then you want to be on premium. It's $1,750. Get 20 sleeves of X39, so they reduce to $87.50 a sleeve. And you don't have to purchase product to stay active for the next 3 months if you come in on premium. So that's a package that many people come in on. In America, it's the most popular package. In South Africa, perhaps not as much, but there are many people on premium. Now, what about staying active? So until you're a manager, you need 1 sleeve of patches a month to stay active. And that means that you're going to collect all the volume underneath you. So because I stayed active, when I brought my first person in, there were already 18 people between me and her, but I had the volume for all of them. And it took me until I came in December, took me until February to become binary qualified. But when I did, I had enough volume on my right leg that as soon as I had 330 on my left leg, I could get cycle bonuses. Now, once you're a manager, you need to have 2 sleeves a month of patches to keep active. And of course, that's not a whole lot to need, because, for example, my husband and I both patch with X39 every month. That gives us 2 sleeves of patches, and we have what we need to be active. So whoever invited you to the call can explain these in more detail. Now, Alex spoke about thisisatinfo.com, which is the information site. We also have thisisateam.com. So thisisateam.com is a bit like your franchise site. So if you bought into any franchise, you would have to do hours and hours of training. There would be websites, there would be videos. Some of the franchises, you even have to go to a franchise school for the franchise that you bought into, and you might spend days or weeks there having to do lectures and write tests before they even allow you to buy the franchise. With LifeWave, think about it as buying a micro franchise at a very reasonable price. Most of us are wanting it because of the product, but the business side is amazing. And then you need to be trained, because if you don't know what you're doing, it's really hard to go out and tell other people about the business. So This Is a Team is where you'll find all the information. If you're the kind of person who needs to know all about the comp plan, you go to the compensation plan section on This Is a Team. And there are several webinars that explain it in great detail, and they explain all the different ways that we earn. But my advice is, don't be paralyzed by needing to know all the information. Just jump in and do it. Because once you do that, you start seeing how it happens, because sometimes we don't understand how we get compensated until we actually start seeing that money arriving in our back office. And when it does, it's very, very exciting. So the time is now to make your move. Are you serious about your dreams? There is hope for your future, and it's all about getting started with X39. And Nori spoke about some of the events that we were at. I met David Schmidt for the first time on this company's 20th anniversary cruise. And I'm not sure if Candice is still on the call, but there's Candice and I with David. And then you can see Candice and I and our husbands are with Steve and Gina Merritt. And that was a convention last year. Nuri was at that convention too. And on the cruise, I went senior presidential director. And those are just a couple of things. Harvey, our upline in the States, and my mentor, and George, who sponsored Candice. Obviously, Candice sponsored me. And those are just a couple of the pictures of the different places that we've been. But we have seen so much and met so many amazing people through LifeWave and seen the most incredible stories. But the stories are what is most exciting. Candice has obviously fallen off the call. But it really is about seeing people heal. And every single day we wake up to new miracles. And that's what excites me about LifeWave. And I know I always ask Amanda, because I know she has lots of value to add her 2 cents about the business opportunity.
Thank you, Mo. Yes, when I started thinking about making use of this business opportunity, I really had to make big decisions, and it was good for me, really fantastic to know that this company is already 20 years old in so many countries and stable. So that was a big thing for me. But then when I started looking at the business plan, I didn't understand it. I think it's so simple that we try and complicate it, but I didn't think that this thing could work quickly, and I needed a lot of income quickly. But then it was amazing. After about 3 weeks, I looked at the points and I knew I needed about 660 points, and I knew a sleeve of X39 would be 77 points. So 660 points sounded like it's going to take me ages to get there. But what I didn't know or understand at that stage is how much your upline helps you and how much your downlines, all the orders help you to build up those points. And within like 3 weeks, 6 weeks or something, I was standing on 3,000 points. And just didn't make sense, but I was so happy to see that. And I can just say to anybody, my life has changed. My life has changed completely. I've got a life. I have time. I sleep great. I've got an income that's just blessing me. I'm so grateful. And not having to do it on your own, because everybody works together. There's so many people on this team. Yes, we're all under Merle, but there are different lines, I can say, and everybody's just willing to help everybody, and it's just really a blessing. I'm so grateful for the LifeWave opportunity. Thank you.
Thanks, Amanda. So thanks, everybody, for being on the call this evening. Thanks, Alex, for presenting with me again. It's like becomes a habit. And we look forward to seeing you on some of the other calls this week. For those of you brand partners, Amanda will host the calls. Arlene is back, so Australian call is happening on a Tuesday again. There's a call this time on a Wednesday evening. Amanda has a call at 4 p.m. on a Thursday afternoon, and then there's a 4 p.m. on Saturday afternoon call. So we look forward to...
I just want to say, Merle, this week we're not having it at 4 o'clock. This week we're having an Afrikaans one at 7 o'clock on Thursday.
Oh, wonderful.
So anybody who wants to send Afrikaans people, Thursday, 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
I would like to
fantastic.
share my testimony if possible.
Yes, we
Samantha.
love you too.
Okay. I'm not going to switch my camera on because I'm currently suffering from sciatica, or however you say it. And so when I started, I was looking at, the patches, and there was a few people that I know personally, and I asked them about it. And I know the one had a spine issue and was due for an operation, and she started patching, and within 2 weeks the doctor said she doesn't need to operate. So that was like very interesting. And my son, so why I was looking at the patches at the first place was because my son had a stroke post-COVID. So he had many mild strokes, and the left side of his body was numb. And at that time I found something called resveratrol from Jeunesse, and that's what I had given him. This was a couple of years back. So when I was talking to the person who brought me in, Miriam, and my son, at that time that I just found out about the patches, at that same time, he called me at 1 a.m. and he said he felt like he was having another stroke on the other side of the body. So when I rushed to him and we got him checked and whatever, that's when I took the step and got myself some patches. And I said, before I put it on him, let me put it on myself. And within the first 3 days of me patching, I had so much of energy and I was super focused. And I'm generally like a person who's ADHD all over the place. So, and my daughter noticed because like I had gotten so many things done in an hour in the kitchen. And like I did my work, I did all my emails, and then I went to the kitchen. I was like very focused and very and done within an hour. So that was the third, yeah, by the third day, I said these patches are working very well, and I double patched. And then I got very sick because my body was already, I was on a chronic diabetes medication, hypertension. I had been diagnosed with lupus and I had been on the medication for a year. I had been taking Dopacol, which is a mood stabilizer and sleeping tablet. I'd never slept without without a tablet for the last 2 or 3 years. Um, and since I had a hysterectomy, that's when I became diabetic as well. So I had all of these things that on the fourth day, I think it was like the healing crisis, as they say, because everything that could have been wrong with me was wrong with me on that day. I felt like I was going to die. And then I phoned my sponsor and I told her, and she says, I didn't say I double patched, though. I don't know if that had something to do with it or too much of a detox. Um, and then I just left it for a day and I started again. So the second week of patching, I didn't need my glucophage, which is my diabetes medication. I took one pressure tablet for the entire week. I went off my sleeping tablets because I slept without them. So I had such like drastic results in that first 2 weeks. Oh, and my son, the one that like he was about to have a stroke, said that he had a tingling numbness on the one side, a tingling and then a numbness on the one side. And I patched exactly on the spot and it went away within seconds. That so there was so many things that I'd noticed that was happening. So I carried on with the patching. And let's say second month into the patching, I've had I had, yeah, 2 seizures. So I had full open cuts. I had a ligation. I had a cyst, which was removed, and then I had a hysterectomy. So I had a lot of operations on that portion of the womb area. So for me, I found it very significant. Always know what that scar feels and look like. So when I found that the scar heal like from the outside, you can actually see that, it's like the kill. I don't know. They say like that piece of skin that's sticking up when you've had surgery that went down like flat, and I could feel like the inside. If something is going to be healing on the outside, and I've been cut 7 layers deep, so if it healed on the outside, it must have definitely healed on the inside. That's what I said to myself. And a lot of things that I noticed because I was very like because I always had health issues and children that were sick, and so I'm very aware of my body and what was happening to it. I also had these lumps on my thighs, which I completely went away. It was like cellulite went away. That was like something I never expected to lose. And then I had like a facelift. It looked like I had like a facelift because there was a wedding in Jan, and I went for the wedding. Everybody kept asking me, "It looks like you've had a facelift, or you're looking younger." So that was my experience with the patching. And I've also got a son who's schizophrenic, who has been diagnosed with schizophrenia, and he's on a medication, and without the medication, he just won't sleep and he won't stop talking, and his mind is all over the place. So when he came to me, because he doesn't live with me, he lives separately from me. So when he came to visit me, he was patched for 3 days. And it was absolutely remarkable. I had such a lovely conversation with this child, and it was, I didn't even say, I think it was 8 or 9 o'clock, and he said, "You know what? I'm tired and I'm going to sleep." He doesn't sleep. If you don't tell him to sleep or take his devices away, he'll stay up the entire night. He just won't sleep. And then when he takes his medication, then he'll sleep for days. But this was something, it was just remarkable, the results with them. So I started using whatever I had, all the patches I had. I started using it, and I signed up on a core. And I wasn't doing the business as much until Nuri reached out to me. And so I did qualify I think it was last week or 2 weeks back as manager. And I did the business because I need the patches for free for my family. And and I thought to myself, the only way I'm going to do it is sharing it with other people. And it's something that I want to share because I think people know in our community, in our families, what a difficult, health journey, health wise, what difficult journey I went through with my children, especially. So if I'm getting results from something like that, which is major, and for me now, it just makes me, I'm just saying it like, oh yeah, I'm not taking any medication, but sitting around a table with my own siblings who are diabetic, and we all had a taste of everything that like the three of us ate the same things, but I didn't feel as bad as they were feeling after eating, because when you're diabetic and you have to have all of those things that raise your sugar levels, you feel tired immediately sluggish, immediately that you had a sugar spike. I didn't feel that, and I mentioned it to them. I said, yet we all diagnosed as diabetic. I was on glucophage XR twice a day, 500, and they were so proudly taking out their pills from their pockets after eating. And I was like, can you realize that ever since I started patching, I'm not doing that. I'm not reaching for my tablets. I mean, my body's probably regulated its insulin levels. So
Thanks,
yeah, that
Samaya. Thank you so much for your testimony and congratulations on going manager.
thank
And
you.
I'm sure your healing is going to continue and you'll have to have your HbA1c tested and then we'll know exactly what your diabetes has done.
Yes, definitely. So I've just upgraded my kit to advanced, and I am
Fantastic.
waiting for patches to arrive.
Wonderful. That's so exciting. So thank you, everybody. And we look forward to seeing you all on call soon. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Bye,
And
everyone.
if you have any questions, go back to the person who invited you. Nice, everyone.